Hi everybody, it's January 25th, Saturday, it's afternoon, and I'm going to take a shot in memory of Garth and in honor of everybody that's watching this. Dustus, Gary, Funeral Panzer, James, Chris, everybody. I can't remember. Man, I'm really unprepared. I wanted to show you all this stuff. And I'm a messy little beaver, and so cheers to that. I'm gonna turn on the music. I wanted to show you. I got She Passed Away, their latest album. Well, I guess not. It's from 2019. Disco Anxieta? Man, Disco Anxiete. And I finally got the 2007 A Place to Bury Strangers. I'm gonna turn this down. Album, which this is the first Place to Bury Strangers album I ever heard from the library. Got it from the library, dude, and I loved it. Like two of my favorite albums, like in the last 15 years, have come from the library. This one and Black Lips, Arabian Mountain. And I remember at the time I could burn CDs, so I burned the Place to Bury Strangers. And since, like I said, I'm messy, I just scratched it up, and I still listen to it, but there were some songs, like two or three songs I couldn't listen to anymore. So I was like, man, I just need to get it. So I ordered it. I sent my old burn copy to Stan from Reality Impaired. Hope he's listening to it. Stan, he's another person that has like no internet access. So yeah, She Passed Away, which and it's from A Place to Bury Strangers that I've been getting into, like more, it's not metal stuff. Like She Passed Away is like goth, and from looking up, when I ordered the Place to Bury Strangers CD, it showed me the KVB, who are like A Place to Bury Strangers, just not as heavy, and then Moon Duo. And She Passed Away is not like them, not like any of those bands, but they're just more goth. And from them I found Twin Tribes, and then another band that I like, Soft Vein. So yeah, I'm just kind of I'm never gonna move away from metal, but I really like this new stuff I've been listening to. Also been listening to Entrails and Grave, just that sweet death, and which I just love. Listening to like this other stuff has made me appreciate that kind of death metal. And I wanted to show you this little boombox. I take this to work and listen to it while I'm working. And I couldn't find a CD. Andy from Mortville Records at Son of a Gun, he sent me the Pazo. It's another foreign language. The German, but Pasto Lazat. You say it. And I really wanted to show you the CD. So I've been putting stickers, decorated stickers. So you buy a boombox, put stickers on it. So I'll show you the CD when I find it. He just sent it to me. Actually, Andy's like a real curmudgeon. But he sent me this. I sent him some zines. So let's get on to the movie. And it's not a Godzilla movie. Let me take a drink. I'm going to review 1983's Thunder, the Italian Rambo ripoff that, man, I don't know even where to start, because so let me look up the director and the actor who plays Thunder. So the director is Fabrizio De Angelis, who I looked him up, and I mean, I don't know how I didn't know who he was already. I mean, you got your Fulci, your Mattei, your Lombardas, I mean, your Lombava, your Bava, your Castellaris, your Sacchettis, your Dardanos, and I don't know what it is about the Italian, like, horror, action, sci-fi, crazy movie makers from the 80s, but it just seems like it's like it's like metal. Like, it's just this thing that it's like a tangible, like, nebulous entity that you can, like, always find new stuff from, be amazed, and, like, just, like, lose yourself in all the details and minutia. So yeah, Fabrizio, it's a movie that's a gangster, like an Italian gangster movie. I can't recall it, but Fabrizio, not only was he a director, but he was a producer, and he produced Paganini Horror, Ratman, which I have. It's not great, but it's a fun movie. He produced Escape from the Bronx, Manhattan Baby, New York Ripper, The Beyond, Zombie. So he was there for all of it, like, behind the scenes. Mark Gregory is another Italian dude. I mean, he was only in like 10 movies, all in the 80s. But I know him from the Bronx, Escape from the Bronx, and Bronx Warrior in 1990, which I saw those when I was a kid. I really, really liked them. I have both of them on VHS. But even back then, like Mark Gregory, I was, dude, he's no. When I saw these, I already knew who Arnold was from the Conan and Stallone, and I was like, he's like not like Stallone or Rambo. I mean, he's not like Stallone or Schwarzenegger. He's just like a kind of a pale comparison. He's kind of, I thought he was like skinny. In the Bronx Warrior, Escape from the Bronx, 1990, his name is Trash. But I mean, he was serviceable. He's a okay, like, action dude. And he died like in 2013, 14. He was born in 64, so I don't know, I guess maybe he was sick. But he was good. I mean, now that I've seen Thunder, yeah, he's not a Native American, but for a movie, I thought he did pretty good. And as the movie went on, I was like, yeah, he looks like a native to me. Just his hair, and he's like tan. And Thunder is just another ripoff of Rambo, which is just like a Blast Fighter. I don't know if I know I reviewed Blast Fighter for the zine, but I don't think I've. Oh my god! Talk about some noise. But Blast Fighter is another Rambo Deliverance like ripoff, and Blast Fighter is pretty hardcore. It's pretty violent. Thunder is like almost like a kiddie version of that, because he doesn't. Thunder doesn't really kill anybody, but also like he can't. So I was watching. I was like, because there's a part where and they're like in Monument Valley. I don't know where. Is that in Arizona or New Mexico? I should have looked that up. But there's a part where he knocks a policeman, a deputy, like off of a cliff, and the deputy's like hanging on, and then I was like, he can't. He's watching him. Like, is he gonna let him fall? I was like, if he lets him fall, then he's like just cold blooded. And he lets him hang there for a while, but then he helps the deputy up. I was like, he can't just be killing people like this. Cause, oh yeah, the whole story is that like Thunder comes home, and the construction workers have destroyed a Native American burial ground, and he gets pissed off. And they're just the cops are harassing him. So they just push him, to the edge. And it's just like Rambo, though. They kick him out of town, and he's leaving. And there's I guess it's the construction workers. They find him, they beat the crap out of him, and it's like in slow mo. And like they punch him, and there's like, it's like dude, it's actually way better than, at least I think it's way better than like how what's his name, Watchmen director, like how he uses slow mo, Zack Snyder. This actually had impact, I thought, because they punch him, and you see like the spittle and blood bubble up from his mouth, and they pummel him, and like I really felt like he's just taking so much. So he goes back in town to report how they beat him up, and then the cops they're just gonna kill him, and they just drip this whole movie in racism against Native Americans. And even though no matter how bad they've beaten him, he just comes back. He beats up like 3 cops. He dives through a window. And I was like, why did he dive through a window? But he went in. It was like a sporting goods store, and he gets an archery set, some shooting arrows. Runs into the desert, and then it's just from there on, it's just action until about like an hour in. I was like, okay, it's getting a little boring. I don't know what's really like. I mean, I know what's going on, but it's not going anywhere. But by the hour mark, there's only 20 minutes left. And I'm a sucker for anything Native American. Like I was Dustis. I was messaging my friend the Dust about like comic books like Rip Claw, Time Spirits, The Butcher. I mean, just anything where a Native American is like fighting back. I mean, it's like a double-edged sword with Native Americans. Like on one hand, the ways they live by are really cool. Like there's all this like honor and just peacefulness. On the other hand, they're just like total savages too. Like the stuff they do to each other and what they would do to the settlers is horrific. But in a romantic, I was trying to think of another word for romantic, just in like an adventure, like action setting, like it's always good. I always like it. And as I was watching Thunder, it made me think of a comic book Scout. Like in Scout, there's a part where they're fighting in the desert. I think in like the same area that Thunder is set, where a Scout he gets all this food. He brings it to this white lady, and she's like, "Where'd you get all this?" And he's like, "It's everywhere." Like because they live there, they know. And in the comic, is gonna go off a tangent. And the comic Scout, he misses the desert and he loves it. He can't live. I was I wouldn't want to live in the desert. It's horrible. But I mean, none of that is addressed in Thunder. But all this stuff that I've read about, like natives, Oh, and then one of my favorite things about like Native Americans is, and they do it in Thunder. They always call him a warrior, and I've read it in comics and seen it in movies too, where like that movie Thunderheart, where there's this Native American, he had like served in the military, and they're like, "You were a soldier," and he's, I'm not a soldier, I'm a warrior." And they do the same thing in Scout. Like, he's, "I'm not a soldier, I'm a warrior." And I really like that. Like, you know. And I remember I was telling Garth about this, and I told, like, they see themselves as warriors, not soldiers. And he's like, "Yeah, like a soldier, he just follows orders. A warrior, thinks for himself and fights with his heart. And just, yeah." So yeah, Garth got it, when he was alive. But and then Thunder. So yeah, around the hour mark, started to drop off a little, but then there's only 20 minutes left. And there's a part where it's pretty brutal, where these Antonio Sabato, Antonio Sabato Senior is in this. His son was in a bunch of movies, and I looked up his son. His son was badass in the movies that came out. And I looked him up. Works in construction now. But anyway, his dad is this badass in here. He's this evil scumbag. So they kidnap a Thunder squaw, and they're like these engines. They don't talk. They'll make her scream. They beat her. They rip her clothes off. And then they tell her, "I'm going to show you," like Antonio Sabato, who's Italian, he tells her, like, "I'm going to show you how a white man fucks." And I was like, "You're not white, you're Italian. You're pretty much like a native yourself." And then that's when Thunder comes out. And he doesn't kill. I was like, "Dude, you gotta kill this dude." I think he killed like one dude. That's the other thing about this movie. It's not super violent like other Italian movies, but it can't be, because Thunder is like fighting for a cause, and he can't. Yeah, he's like a superhero. I think he has to kill one dude who had a gun, because he shot him in the back with an arrow. And another dude, I thought he killed him, but looks like he got him in the shoulder. And then there's another cop who started the whole thing. He never gets his comeuppance. So this movie's like split. Like, it's not brutal and violent and bloody and killery enough, but it can't be. So I kind of like that. And at the end, did Thunder survive? Did he die? But he becomes like a legend, and I like that too a lot. What I don't like, and I'm doing this video, so like Severin or Arrow or someone will release, like, find a copy of this and clean it up, because a copy on Amazon Prime where I watch it, it's okay. It's like second generation VHS quality, but I want to see this in like HD or whatever, or like a decent VHS quality. That kind of detracted for me from the viewing experience. It just kind of, I don't know, almost, it's just not a good quality video that I watched it on. And that just little hampered it a little for me. But there are 2 more Thunder movies, and I will watch. And when I clicked on it, like, it brought up all these other like 80s action movies that I have never heard of, for sure not seen. And I was like, man. So now it's like Godzilla movies and action movies. So, but for rating, I would give Thunder. Oh yeah, the movie poster. It looks like this could be post-apocalyptic, sci-fi, Vietnam War movie, and it almost like builds up expectations of what it's going to be. But when I looked at the movie poster, I was like, everything depicted on the poster happens. Just not as awesome as you would think, but everything on the movie poster does happen. So I would give Thunder a solid 3.5. Manos Hands of Fate. It has pretty good rating on IMDb, which I was surprised. But I would like to own it. Revoc.com or RevocDVD.com has it, but just not a good quality. So hopefully, I'm throwing this out to the ether that someone like Severin will put this out. So we'll see. I mean, Severin put out Texas Gladiator, and no one's put out Thunder yet. So we'll see. Go grab a beer, and I'll see ya.